Well, the Transport Minister delivered his budget speech in Parliament yesterday. Transport affects every single one of us. So let's crunch numbers now. Minister Ben Martins joins me from our Cape Town studios. Minister, a huge pleasure. Thanks again for joining us. Now let's get the more controversial issue out of the way. South Africans have been more than vocal on the issue of e-tolling. The church has added their condemnation. There's even a song about it now. Minister, how does your budget deal with Gauteng e-tolls?
SANRAL has the responsibility of implementing e-tolls. On the 24th of May, the amendment bill was passed in the National Council of Provinces. Draft tolls and regulations have been published. There will be a 30-day period for written comments. Thereafter, the minister has 3 days to respond to the written comments, and then the final tolls will be gazetted.
So has money been set aside to try and cushion the effect on motorists?
Money has been set aside. What has been advertised does address that particular issue.
Okay, Minister, now that we've gotten that thorny issue out of the way, one of the local focal points at least is improving public transport. It was highlighted in your budget. Taxis are a major source of frustration for many motorists, but the fact is that thousands of people rely on them. Now, I know 522 million rand has been set aside for the taxi recapitalization program. What exactly does it involve? Withdrawing old minibuses from the roads or withholding the permits? How exactly will this money be used?
The main purpose of the taxi recapitalization program has always been to ensure that the motor vehicles that are on our roads are in a fit and proper condition to be on our roads. So the recap program was to ensure that we are cognizant of the safety, fitness levels of all vehicles that are on our road. So that program continues, and that's the main objective that we have.
Minister, last year, President Jacob Zuma boarded a metro rail train and experienced firsthand the frustrations that many commuters face every day. You've given PRASA over 3.6 billion rand for current operations, more than 7.4 billion rand for capital infrastructure, as well as 46.5 million rand to the railway safety regulator. How will this improve the lives of train commuters, do you think?
Our responsibility also at the level of Metro Rail is to ensure that we refurbish, we replace the locomotives and passenger coaches, which are on average more than 50 years old. So the program is to ensure that the coaches initially are assembled in South Africa, but as we move forward with this more than 20-year program, to ensure that the coaches, locomotives are actually built in Gauteng province. Initially, this will result in more than 3,200 jobs. And as a result of the localization aspect thereof, more than 22,000 jobs will be created.
Lastly, Minister, let's talk about the refurbishment of our roads. I have in front of me here a copy of the Sowetan newspaper. I know it's very early and you haven't had a chance to go through it, so I'm just going to highlight one of the aspects there. There's a very, very disturbing picture, a huge gaping hole in one of the roads in Mpumalanga with a vehicle literally stuck right inside it. The state of the roads in South Africa, it's one thing to allocate money to the development of the roads, but how do you ensure that those people tasked with fixing issues such as potholes and gaping holes like this, that those people actually follow through and do a proper job? How will you monitor that the money that has been allocated is well spent when it comes to developing our roads?
As you have just said, our responsibility is to ensure that there's the requisite sum of money for the maintenance of our roads at all levels. At the national level, it's the responsibility of SANRAL. At the provincial level, it's the responsibility of the provinces, and at the local level, it's the responsibility of local government. But what we are ensuring is that the National Department of Transport should not just be a disburser of funds to the various spheres of government. we have systems in place to ensure that the monies that we disperse are truly utilized for the purpose for which they were granted to the other spheres of government. So in conjunction with provinces and local authorities, there are systems in place that are more stringent as we move forward to ensure that those monies are indeed utilized for the purpose for which they were dispersed.
Minister, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks again for joining us. Transport Minister there, Ben Martins.
News that moves. eNCA.com.